Welcome or welcome back. I'm super happy that you're here today. Today we are going to be working on the marketplace on Fox Grove, and I am super excited to continue this theme, and I feel like it's really kind of developing and coming together now. So I'm really excited for that. And we are going to be working to the right of the area that I was working on in my last speed build. And if you haven't seen the entrance, go ahead and check that out. But this is the area that we're working with. I think eventually I will place Nook's Cranny over here and we'll just kind of have a full-fledged marketplace. So I did start to experiment with creating buildings in this speed build. It's something that I've never really done before, and so I did take a little bit of trial and error and did a lot of the troubleshooting off camera because I just didn't want to keep you guys here for forever. But it was really fun to kind of play around with different illusions and try to give the illusion of a bustling marketplace with lots of shops and buildings. So right now I'm just kind of figuring out how far back I want the actual building to go. I wanted to have enough room for decorations and things on the side as well. And then I decided to go with a little bit of pathing as the roofing. I was going to get a custom design for the roof, but I decided that this would be a great opportunity to kind of save that custom design slot. So I ended up thinking that the in-game pathing looks pretty good here. And then I'm going to use the brick fencing as a kind of, I don't know, city-like roof. I would love to hear your ideas in the comments below about what items I can actually put up here to make it look a little bit more roof-like. Or, I don't know, just if you've ever done a city island, how did you do your roofs? Because I do feel like it's a little bit maybe awkward, but I'm content with it at the moment. So in a little bit you will see that I do decide to make the roof a little bit bigger, but for now I leave it as like a little 3x3 square. I end up extending it one tile to both sides, and I think it ends up looking a little bit better that way. And then I'm just going to lay down this brick path. I really love this pathing. It sometimes gives me a little bit of trouble when I'm putting it down, but I do think that it looks really nice with all of the tones that I've got going on the island so far. So I do want to shout out my card that I created for all of my custom designs, and I will be updating it as I go. So every time I release a speed build, any new codes that I've downloaded and used will be in the card, and I always attempt to find the creator of these codes and link them as well so that you can follow them and check out any new designs that they happen to create. So that is always in my description, and so I would love for you to check that out. So I decided that for this area I wanted to go with a post office. I had a post office on my last island, but it was like an actual building. And I don't know, I just think that the post office is a really cute thing that every city has. So I have these kind of like letter boxes, I guess maybe they are. And I was thinking about kind of putting the brick on either side. And I end up going and customizing a darker panel so that the edges match a little bit better. So you're going to see me fix that in just a second, because I do feel like it looked just a little bit awkward having the two panels in the center be a little bit different than the outside. And then I do change the custom design so that it's like more of a vine pattern. I don't know. I just think that this flows a lot better, but let me know what you think. Do you think it looks better with the brick, or do you like it with the panels matching and more of a viney kind of look? So next I'm just going to start placing lots of boxes, and I thought the gift pile might look really cute here as well, just like, I don't know, like somebody's waiting to send out lots of things. I don't know, sometimes it's a little bit tricky to figure out what items to use. So now I decided to kind of extend the clipping a little bit. I wanted it to look a little bit more symmetrical. It's not always necessary to have your builds be symmetrical, but sometimes I do think it helps things to look a little bit better in pictures. And then I had this vision in my mind to use the jail bars as the entrance to the marketplace. I saw a few inspiration pictures on Pinterest of people doing this with like trees, and I just thought it looked really, really beautiful. I don't think I did it quite as well in the finished project. I don't think I did it quite as well in the finished product as the pictures that I saw, but I still really like the look, and I think the kind of dark rusty tones look good with everything else that I'm using here in the post office. So I'm just placing the last few items here, and then you'll see in just a second that I do end up fixing the roofing, but I did that off camera. And then I just kind of shuffle the flowers around just a little bit. And Pearl comes to check out the post office. She is so cute. When I was deciding on villagers for the island, I wasn't like super sold on her right off the bat, but I think she's really cute and she's really grown on me. And I actually went to go visit Kiki because she's on the island as well, and her and Pearl were hanging out, and I just love that for them. I think that's so cute. So she is definitely here to stay on Fox Grove. So I'm just shuffling around the flowers. I am using 2 different colors of hyacinths, and I think that when they look, when they're too close together, I feel like it looks a little bit strange. So I just kind of wanted to add a little bit of variation there. And then I'm just putting this lost notebook here on the pile of cushions, and just the last few final touches on this post office. I felt like this little bit of space in between the road and the items was a little bit awkward. I kind of wish I could have put something there, but you know what? It ends up looking just fine in the end, so it is okay. And then I kind of wanted the simple panels to overlap with the jail bars a little bit. I don't know, I just kind of like the effect that it gave. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put a hardwood tree just behind. I have no idea why I tried to place the tree right next to the cliff. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course I can't do that. But I really like the effect that the tree and the jail bar gives to create kind of a little entrance here. So now I was kind of working on fixing this roofing just a little bit, making it a little bit more symmetrical, and just kind of fit the shape of the building a little bit better. I felt like building these roofs kind of took a little bit of brain power for me. Eventually I got the hang of it, but trying to figure out how to make the fencing go in a square and leave room for items, and I don't know why it was so difficult for me. But there is the finished post office, and Kiki is coming to check it out because she is perfect. She's so cute, just like chilling by that tree. So I did kind of put the jail bars down just as a guide because I did want them to be symmetrical with the other side. So that's going to kind of help me to decide how far out the cliff should go. And then I just kind of put that hole there because that's where the tree will go. And I just want to make sure that I'm not making my building so big that it won't fit. Also, please ignore how terrible I am at cliff terraforming. Yeah, so I usually leave the terraforming part out of my videos, but a few people requested to see, so I'm trying to leave a little bit of it in, but I don't feel like it's the most interesting part. So let me know what you think. Maybe your opinion has changed. Should I leave the terraforming part out, or do you like to see more of the whole process? So I'm deciding to do a slightly different style with the roof on this second building. I'm going to use a different in-game path, and then you'll see me use the Zen fencing in just a second, and I think it gives a really, really nice effect as a roof. So I do just kind of leave that back of the roof for a little while. I do eventually fix it, but I wasn't quite sure if I was going to need to extend the roof or what needed to happen, so I decided to just kind of leave it there. I'm a little bit of a lazy designer, and I tend to like stop one area and then just like go to the next one. So that's something I'm kind of trying to fix because I do feel like it's probably a little bit annoying for my speed builds. So, but yeah, I think that if you're not making YouTube videos, I do think that like kind of leaving an area and then coming back to it can really, really help and help you see it with like fresh eyes. And I don't know, sometimes it can help with any kind of creative blocks as well, just like with anything else creative that you're doing. Sometimes taking a little bit of a break can really help. So I was extremely excited about these custom designs, and I'm going to link the creator in my card, so please do go and check him out. The used book sign is incredible. I was so excited to use this. This is probably my favorite little shop that I create in this speed build, is this bookstore. Oh, and of course the brick is creeping in here. Alright, so I am just going to start placing a few bookshelves here to kind of give the illusion of this storefront. And it's kind of helpful because it covers up the used book sign that appears at the bottom of the panel. And I think it makes it look just a little bit more realistic. I wanted to also place some records out front in the magazines, because usually when you go to a used bookstore, it's not just books. They have some knickknacks, they have some old records, or, you know, VHS, whatever. Oh my goodness, VHS. That makes me feel super, super old. But I mostly just wanted to use lots of stacks of books outside. Usually in the area that I live, like used bookstores will put some of their books outside of their shop. So that's kind of what I was thinking of as I was doing this. So I do feel like the bookstore has like a semi-awkward little area off to the side because it's right next to the beach. So I'm just going to try to fill in this area as best I can to kind of take that away. It's not going to be perfect because it is still going to be right next to the beach, but I do think that it's okay, and I think I'll probably end up extending the marketplace down to the beach area and maybe do some like more cafe, restaurant kind of vibes on the beach. Just because the marketplace does kind of like butt up to that entire beachfront. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that area for now. And now I'm just finishing up the bookstore. Of course, we need to have a tiny library here. And then I'm just kind of admiring the roofing. I feel like the Zen fencing looks really good as a roof. So next I'm just going to start laying the old brick path again, and I want to make a few shops that are kind of on the sides here as you get to the end of this road. And it does get a little bit hard to see what exactly is like on these stalls, and that part didn't really matter quite as much to me. I just kind of wanted to give the effect of like a farmer's market. So right now this is going to end up being a plant shop. And that's something that I definitely see at the farmer's market in my area. Lots of house plants and lots of like plants for your garden. And so I did want to incorporate that. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult, like I said, to see what's on the actual stall, but I just wanted it to look really, really full. Then I thought this utility pole looked a little bit kind of cool here. And I feel like I have never, ever used that item before. So going with this slightly different theme has been really fun to kind of use items that I never would have used before. Alright, so I ended up having a little bit of a block with what I wanted to do on the other side of the marketplace. So I ended up just jumping down here and filling in this kind of small little cliff area by the road. And I decided that I kind of just wanted there to be a lot of picnic areas. I feel like at a farmer's market, there are always people who are sitting outside and like eating whatever food they got at the market or just kind of like people watching. And so I kind of wanted to emulate that a little bit with this area and really fill this in with some picnic areas and maybe like a small little gathering area or playground for the kids on the island. So right now I'm just placing this dirt path here and I decided to make a very, very, very small little playground in this area, just a couple of little toys and a bench for the parents to sit, of course. And I love this dirt path so much. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous in this time in the game. And if you haven't seen the time popping up already, I am in September right now. And I think I'm going to keep this island like right around mid-September time. I think that the tones in the game just look really beautiful. And all of these colors of flowers that I'm using like seem to really pop during this time as well. So I do think that eventually I'd like to sort of transition to actual fall because that is my favorite season in the game. And I just think it's really, really beautiful. So I'm just kind of adding lots of flowers and shrubs and little details in this area. I'm just kind of trying to fill it up. I don't want this area to distract too much from the shops and everything else that's going on. I just kind of wanted it to blend in the background. And then for this area over here, I'm just going to make a little picnic spot, just a place for maybe somebody working in the shops to eat their lunch or something like that. So and then we have Eric coming to check out the picnic area. He is so, so precious. I ended up getting him on the island fairly recently because he moved off of a friend's island. And I've actually never had Eric in the game before. And I completely understand what everyone is talking about. He is just so, so precious. I love him so much. So I'm super happy that he was able to come and live on Fox Grove. And he will definitely be staying until this island is finished. So I wasn't really sure what to put in this little space in between the road and this picnic blanket. So I feel like my go-to is just to fill things up with custom designs, and yeah, I feel like it works just fine. So I decided to return over to the kind of marketplace main road and fill in the other side, and then I end up thinking that usually at a farmer's market there's like some homemade jewelry and things like that, so I do end up putting some accessory stands here, and I end up kind of switching things around a little bit later in the video, but I did think that that was a really cute idea. Usually I do see like homemade jewelry and things like that at a farmer's market. So these simple panels were really giving me a hard time. I feel like they're actually really hard to push for some reason. Like, it seemed like my player just kept going like around the panel instead of actually grabbing onto it. It's kind of funny. So yeah, sorry for the struggle just a little bit. Alright, so fast forward a lot of trial and error. I have made the terraforming for 2 more buildings, and I did have one of them be separate from the other buildings that I was working on, and I really wanted there to be like an alleyway in between. I kind of wanted to use these windows as kind of like either it's the windows of the shops, or maybe there's like somebody who lives up above the shop or something like that. I don't know, that's kind of what I was thinking. So I wanted there to be an alleyway with like some trash cans, so you'll see me put that together in a little bit. Sorry for not showing the terraforming of these other buildings. It was really exactly like the first 2, so I figured you probably didn't want to see that again. So I really don't like the way the simple panels leave like a little bit of a crack. So I do kind of use some plants to fill that in. And then I'm using this dirt path as the alleyway. I kind of just thought that that would help to divide the area just a little bit more and just make it more obvious that that's kind of like a different, very, very small section. It was kind of annoying to have to pick up the panels again, but I do think it's worth it for the effect in the very end. And here I am once again struggling with the simple panels. I feel like working in a smaller area like this also makes it a little bit tricky. But yeah, sorry for that. So I'm just going to kind of fill in that little awkward crack with the cypress plant. I think that works a little bit. It's not perfect, and depending on how you pan the camera, you do kind of see the gap between the terraforming and the simple panel, and I think unfortunately because of just the mechanics of the game, I don't think that's anything I can really change. And I still like having the panels. I think it gives more of an illusion of a building, but I would love to hear your guys' ideas because this is the first time that I've ever created a building before. So if you have seen, people do it in different ways that look a little bit more realistic or just a little bit better, I would love to hear your ideas. I'm definitely open to going back and making some adjustments and changes to this section of the island. So here I'm just kind of playing around with how I lay down this brick path. I end up changing it later because I decide that I don't like it, but the cool thing about that particular custom design is that you can kind of do that. You don't have to use them exactly the way that they're labeled, right, left, center, you know, whatever it may be. And I do think this is maybe a poor example, but I do think that it can look really, really cool to add a little bit of variation. So I decided that it looks a little bit weird because the two front stalls are the same custom design and the two back stalls are the same custom design. So I decided to like switch them, and then it's so funny when I put it back on like the front left, I ended up putting the exact same like custom design, so it was like basically pointless to do that. So I did go after this video and fix it, which it just kind of cracks me up. It just shows that my mind is just so scattered when I'm decorating. Something that's really cool about making these videos though is I do tend to notice I tend to notice like little details that I don't like as much that I can change, and I think that's kind of fun. Like no area is truly ever finished, so I was trying to add in a few more of these like cute little details like the street organ and the popcorn, and ultimately I kind of felt like the colors just didn't really work. So like I do with a lot of these sections, I just kind of give up on it for a second and I just move somewhere else, and that just kind of helps me to not have a creative block. So I'm just putting the garbage bins in this alleyway right now. I think that this area looks really, really cute, and I think that having an alleyway makes this area feel just a little bit more realistic to me, at least. So I'm just gonna place some cardboard boxes here, and then eventually I will pop in the trash bags as well. I'm not really sure what my logic about the cricket was. I think it's mostly just I think the cricket is cute. So yeah, we'll just ignore that. I guess sometimes they have like small pets, I want to say, at a farmer's market. Like I'm thinking of like hermit crabs and yeah, I don't know. So I'm just kind of filling in this area at the street here with lots of flowers and custom designs, and I end up clipping a lot of this out, but you'll see it in just a second. So here is the final walkthrough of this area. I really, really like the way that it's come together. Let me know what you think about these different buildings. What would you change about the design, or do you like it how it is? I'm really, really curious to hear your feedback because this is very, very different from anything that I've ever really tried to do before. So I'm very, very curious to hear what you think. But that is going to take us to the end of the video. And Shep was so kind as to come and say goodbye with me today. He's already diligently taking care of the plants. So if you made it this far, please do consider to like and subscribe to my channel to support me. I appreciate you all so, so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!